Hello friends, I would very much love to be with you, but I'm out and around the world this year, these last few months, as we build this huge global coalition called 350.org. Now, I'm a Methodist. I'm a Methodist from small town Methodist churches. I know what the UMW is all about. In fact, in the church where I go, we always say it stands for "You Must Work." I know the kind of work that you all do and that you're capable of doing, and that's why I'm asking for your help. Climate change is the biggest issue that human beings have ever faced. I wrote the first book about this issue 20 years ago. It came out this fall 20 years ago. And so I've gotten to follow this question of global warming as it's developed all over the world. The only thing we didn't know 20 years ago was how long it would take. And the answer, unfortunately, is that it's happening much faster than we imagined. That's where this number comes from. In the summer of 2007, Arctic sea ice suddenly melted very dramatically, far ahead of what the scientists had predicted. One of the most prominent features of God's Earth was changed, and changed almost overnight. As scientists began to look around the world, they saw that other things were changing very quickly too. High altitude glaciers in the Andes and the Himalayas melting, which means a terrible future for the 1 in 3 human beings who live downstream from those glaciers. They saw diseases like dengue fever spreading with enormous rapidity as mosquitoes, who like this warmer, wetter world that we're creating, move to expand their range. They saw, in a word, creation beginning to unravel. Our best scientists, government scientists, a man named Jim Hansen at NASA and his team, published a paper in January of 2008, and in it they said that any value for carbon dioxide in the atmosphere greater than 350 parts per million was not compatible with the planet on which civilization developed or to which life on Earth is adapted. That's very strong language. It's even stronger language when you realize that we're already well past 350. We're at 390 parts per million and rising 2 parts per million per year because we're burning so much coal and gas and oil. What those scientists are telling us is that we have to slow down and stop that burning of fossil fuel. We have to make the transition to renewable energy, and we have to do it quickly. We have one of our best chances to speed that process this December when the world's nations meet in Copenhagen to come up with a new climate treaty. And to make that treaty effective, to make it reflect the science, we've launched this huge global campaign called 350.org. All over the world on that day, in almost every country on Earth, in the most far-flung and widespread movement of its kind there's ever been, people will be taking that number and trying to push it deep into the human imagination. There'll be climbers at the top of the highest peaks in the Himalayas. The president of the Maldive Islands, a wonderful, beautiful Muslim nation in the Indian Ocean, but one that may disappear beneath the rising seas in the next 50 years. He's going to lead the world's largest underwater political demonstration, 350 people with signs and banners down on their beautiful coral reef. One of the groups that's been most powerfully responsive to this call have been faith groups of all kinds all over the world. We've had wonderful participation from Buddhist groups in Asia, in every synagogue around the world. October 24th, the day of this global climate action, happens to be the day that people read the story of Noah from the Torah, and so they'll be taking part in many, many actions. Most of all, churches in every corner of the planet have promised to ring their bells 350 times on that Saturday to send out the word to their congregations, to their parishes, to their communities, that it's time to take seriously this greatest challenge, not only to the integrity of creation, but to the thread of social justice around the world. I very much hope that you'll make sure that your congregation is involved at least to that extent, that that old bell up there in the belfry will ring 350 times that day, and send out that message to your community. Please go to 350.org and join our efforts. Register that action. Help people in your congregation to understand how important this is. Thank you so much to the UMW for all the work that you do all the time. And thank you for joining us on this very special day in late October.